Everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video I will show you how to apply Gaussian blur to a live camera preview as well as to image capture in Expo React Native's new architecture for Android using Camera X as well as Media 3 effect. So let's get started. Now I'll first show you guys the output so that things would be more clearer for you. So I have recorded the output, so I'll just play it. Here you can see it is asking for first for camera permission, and then it displays the live preview. Now it is taking a little bit of time for live preview is because the performance of the Gaussian blur using the Media 3 effect is still very poor, especially on cheap Android device. So I'm using a cheap Android okay, like I was saying, the performance is extremely poor on cheap Android devices. That's why it is taking a bit of time to show up. Also, the Media 3 effect library is still in alpha at the time of me recording this video. That's why it is taking a bit of time. Okay, so sorry, I don't know why it has not captured this. Like I said, once I'm sorry about this, but it is not captured the output properly. You should try it on your own device. It does work, but I have like I said, the you will see a capture button as well, but like I said, I have very cheap Android device and it is causing performance issue. That's why I'm not able to really capture the video even without a video recording app, because it is taking too much memory on my device. But if you have at least a decent Android device like a OnePlus or something, it will work fine for you. And like I said, the Media 3 effect library for Camera X is still using which we will apply Gaussian blur is still in alpha at the time of me recording this video. That's why we are facing this performance issue. If it does become stable by the time you guys are watching the video, you will get better performance as compared to me. So sorry about this output. Like, I was able to see this particular live camera preview as well, but I think my video recording software has not captured it. It has directly captured the image with the help of the capture button which I was clicking. So I was displaying the live camera preview with Gaussian blur as well as the button as well. So anyways, hopefully you got the point. Sorry about this output. So let's see how to get started. So here what the next step is to create an Expo React Native project. So you can just run this command inside your terminal and it will create an Expo React Native project for you. It will ask you for your app name. Just give it some app name. Now just to quickly show you the documentation as well, there are multiple ways to create an Expo React Native project. I'm using this blank TypeScript template as you can see over here, but if you want you can use all these other templates as well. The reason I'm using this blank TypeScript template is because it creates a blank less boilerplate code with TypeScript support. That's why. Okay, once that is done, you need to go to this URL over here. So like I said, will be writing native code. I'm not using any third-party library. Also, the Expo version which I'm using is 53.0.2. Unfortunately, the Expo guys have still not updated to React Native 80, which has been released a month ago from the time me recording this video, but they still haven't updated it. I don't know why. But anyways, for our case this is fine. I don't think there will be any breaking changes as such. So just go to this URL next. So here you will have to select Android device, select development build, and I have already done all these steps. So here you will have to select your own operating system. I have already ran this command. I have set the Java home as well. I have also set up Android Studio as well. So if you haven't done this, you will have to follow this documentation, then do this particular bit of stuff, then do this particular bit of stuff. Then you will have to cd to your application. So the Expo React Native application inside your terminal, the cd to my app or whatever is your Expo React Native project name, and then just run this command. So this will install this Expo dev client dependencies as well. So you'll have to run this command. Once you run this command, you will have to run this command over here, npx expo run android. Once you run this command, you should see this Android folder being created for you. It will also ask you like, do you want to run your application on a simulator or a real device? So you don't have to run it. You can just press Ctrl C. We'll run it at the very end once the application is done. Once we finish writing code, because we will be writing native code, right? So you can't just hot reload or hot refresh. You will have to run it from the start, so no point in running it now. Okay, then we need to create this module. So for that you need to go to this particular documentation. Like I said, this is only for Android, so we are not concentrating on iOS. So I'll open it inside a new tab, and here you can see you first need to run this command. Okay, then it will ask you some questions like what should be the module name. Don't enter anything, just press enter. that's it, and it will give you this, it should create this folder for you, modules, my module, that's it. Okay, now I'll just close this. Now few things which you need to do. So first you need to go to the src folder, go to my module.type.ts, and here you can see this is the url, like this is the thing which we will use for sending, this key we will be using for sending the image url from native android side to expo react native side. Okay, now here I have commented this particular thing out. Now this all thing was present by default, I have not added this by myself. I will tell you what I have changed. I have commented these two things out. Now this, don't get confused by this url and this url. This url is for sending the data back from native android side or from native side to expo react native side, and this basically is a prop. We are not using any prop, so I've commented this out. And this particular thing is same what I have written over here. I have just changed the name on image taken just so that it makes more sense in our case. That's why, that's the only thing which I have changed. Okay, and I don't think I have changed anything inside my module. Just check once. I think this should be the same for you as well. Then once that is done, you need to go to the android folder, you need to go to build.gradle, and here you need to add this dependencies block. So here you need to add this camera core, then this camera 2, camera lifecycle, camera view, then android x camera media 3 effect, which is still in alpha at the time of me recording this video, and this media 3 effect as well. If this library does become stable, make sure you use the stable version. Then android x app compat 1.7.0 as well. Okay, once you add all this, you need to go to the main android folder, go to app, src, main, android manifest.xml, and here you can see we need to add two things. First is this uses feature of android hardware camera as well as this camera permission. So make sure you add these two things. Now we also require this write external storage, but this was added by default when we create an expo react native project, so I don't need to add it. Okay, and also the internet permission is a good thing to do. Okay, once that is done, let's just see how to use it. We'll see the implementation in a bit. So just go to app.tsx, and here are all the imports which I have written. So feel free to pause the video and copy all these imports. Then here we have one state for image URL, one state just to check whether camera permission was granted or not. Then here I am just checking whether the Android version is greater than 10 or not, greater than equal to 10, because from Android 10 we don't require the write external storage permission. So that's what I'm doing over here inside this method. Depending on the Android version, we are asking for the required permission, and here you can see once the permission has been granted, we just change the state of this particular variable over here as well. Okay, and inside use effect we just call this particular method over here. Once image URL is not equal to empty, then we'll just display the image using the image react native image element. If it is empty, like at the default it is empty, and if camera permission is granted, then we just display this camera preview as well as our capture button. Else we just say display a text saying camera permission not granted, and these are the styles for that particular thing as well. Okay, then again you need to go to module, my module, go to src java, and here you first need to go to my module.kt. Okay, first you need to add this particular import. Now why we need to add this? Because we need to annotate this my module @ unstable API. This is because this media 3 effect libraries are bit like this is an alpha, right? But this unstable API is because of this particular library. Even though this is stable, the API is bit unstable. This is one of the quirks of Android development. Hopefully by the time you guys watch this video, they hopefully resolve this issue, but at least at the time of me recording we need to add this. Okay, and rest everything I have kept it as it is. Then just scroll down, and here inside my module we have commented this out because we are not passing any prof. So to comment out things in Kotlin, you just have to add this // and here also I have commented this out, events on load, and here I have this events on image taken, because that's the type which we are using over here, right? That's why I'm using events on image taken. That's the only change which you need to make. Now let's see the actual code on how to do this. Thing which you need to do is you just need to go to my module view.kt file. So by default in this particular class of my module, you will see some default code. You just have to delete this code and just write the code which I will be showing you. So firstly, these are all the imports, so feel free to pause the video and just copy all these imports. Okay, now here again I have annotated this class with @unstable. Like I said, this media 3 API is still unstable, that's why we have to add this annotation. And given that this class is used inside my module.kt, that's why my module.kt was also annotated with @unstable. Then here we have this event which helps us to send data from from native Android side to React Native side. Here we get hold of our activity. This is the frame layout. Here we get hold of our camera preview as well as image capture. Here we initialize our button as well. This is the preview view. Here is our camera executor service, and this is the process camera provider as well. Here we have the back facing lens. Then here we set the layout params for our frame layout. Here we add the view to our frame layout as well. Then here we set the layout params to our viewfinder. Then here we call this method. I'll come back to this why we are doing this. Okay, then we add the viewfinder to our frame layout. Then here we set the text background color, text color as well as alpha for our button. Then we set the layout params for it as well. Then we add the capture button to our frame layout. We add a click listener for our capture button as well. Then here we override this on attached to window, and if we have the camera permission, then we just do viewfinder.post setup camera. Here we detach from window, then we just do camera executor shutdown, unbind our camera provider. Now like I was telling you, we are calling this method. Why we are calling this method? If you want to know more, you can go to this particular issue. So this issue has been basically open in React Native's repo since past 8 years. If you don't write this hacky code, so basically this is a hack. So if you don't write this hacky code, you won't be able to see your live camera preview, and instead you will just see a black screen. That's why we need to do this. Then here we call setup camera, where for which we get our camera provider future as well as we get hold of our camera provider as well. And then we call our bind camera use case. Here we get the width and height as well as the rotation. Then here we assign the camera provider. Here we get hold of our camera selector, then the aspect ratio strategy as well as resolution selector. Then we initialize preview view as well as image capture over here. Then here we get the use case group builder, where we add preview and image capture use case. Here we initialize our media 3 effect as well, and here we pass the Gaussian blur. Now like I said, if you are like me facing a lot of issues, performance issues when applying Gaussian blur, you can minimize this value. But if you minimize it too much, then the Gaussian blur is also not applied, so you will have to choose the right value based on your device. But like I said, we are still facing performance issue because like I mentioned in the build.gradle library which we added, the media 3 camera effect is still in alpha at the time of me recording this video. But hopefully in the future, once that library becomes stable, we'll get much better performance. Then we add the media 3 effect to our use case group builder. We unbind our camera provider, we bind it to the life cycle as well, and then we set the surface provider to this as well. Then here we call take photo, where we get hold of our image capture. This is the simple date format. Then we pass the display name, MIME type, and if Android version greater than P, we also set the relative path. Then here we have the image capture.output file options. Then we do image capture.take picture. Here we override on image saved, and once we have the saved image, here is the URI of the saved image. We send it back to React Native side with the help of this on image taken. Then here we unbind our camera provider. Then here we just have a method just to check whether we have all the required camera permissions or not. And here I have just defined two variables which we are using it inside our file. So yeah, that's all there is to it. Again, sorry about the output. Like I said, the library is still in alpha, and if you want a better output, you can play around with this value. And it also depends on what kind of Android device you are using. I'm using a cheap Android device which is almost 5 years old now. That's why I'm facing performance implications, but I'm pretty sure if you try to test it on a Pixel or OnePlus, you will get much better performance, and the performance will improve as soon as the library reaches stable. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.